Sarpsborg against our Norwegian Eliteserien match this Sunday, 4 p.m. kickoff time in the UK. Really tough game, to be honest, this one. Sarpsborg are the favourites, minus 135 in general. That, to be honest, is a bit too short. I do think they're the better side. I do think they might just win. But Odd are not that bad a side. I've actually underestimated them a little bit this season so far. They got a good 0-0 draw against Starbæk. A solid defensive display, good keeping. And then they beat Brand last week. I think that's looking like a pretty good win, you know. And they deserved it. They were the better team. They had a good tactical setup. Reminded me they do have a decent manager here in Paco Johansson who, you know, can find a way often to get a result if needed, set the team up well. They've got a good goalkeeper in Leopold Wallstedt if needed. And probably some better players than I gave them credit for initially. So I'm not going to underestimate this Odd team right now. But I do think Sarpsborg, if they play their potential, will win. There was a good victory for them at Vålerenga last week. We're not going to judge them too much for losing at home to Glimt in the opening game 2-0. They were down to 10 men for the last 30 minutes as well. So let's just write that one off. They do have a little bit more quality. They're better offensively if they really get into gear. But it's still not enough to tempt me into betting on them. Even if they were even money, I probably wouldn't have a nibble. The goal line's pretty high as well. I do think overs is likely, but a goal line of over 3 at minus money, that just seems too high based on what we've seen early season in Norway. There's not been that many goals around. There have been the last 2 games, but first 2 rounds in general have been unders really more than overs, and both teams scoring no. You know, here we are, both teams scoring yes is as low as minus 200 with Bet Victor there. So I think it's another game. You're best to leave it alone. The handicap on Sarpsborg is -1 or minus 0.75. I'm going to predict a 2-1 home win. I think it feels like a Sarpsborg win by 1 goal. Wouldn't surprise me if it ended 1-0 last season. Both meetings did end 1-0 last year. Odd are a difficult side to work out, and I've been against them, I say, the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to do the same again here. So let's just sit and watch this one and see what happens.